Hi, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, good. Looking forward to talk to you about A Quiet Place Day One because I so enjoyed this movie. I really
Oh,
thought
thank
it
you.
was amazing and such an addition to the ones we've seen before, of course. Although I saw it in cinema twice, not on VOD yet. Can I just ask you, what was it like for you to see the reception of the movie and the amazing box office that it went through?
It was great. I mean, I definitely wanted to try and do something a little different with a big franchise studio movie and have some intimacy and some kind of surprising personal moments. And sometimes that can work, sometimes it won't. And it was nice to see that people responded to that and accepted it. And we're excited by something a little bit different. And yeah, I mean, you work on something for 2.5 years, and you just kind of hope that it hits right with the public. And it was really nice to see that it worked out.
Yeah, it definitely did. And I think it's especially through that intimacy and personal encounters that you described just now, because you really feel for the characters. If I get this right, you actually wrote the story for this one, the screenplay,
Yeah.
for the movie. I mean, that means you sort of stepped into something that John and Scott and everyone created before you. How exciting was that?
I mean, it's exciting. It's a lot of pressure. Scott and Brian and John had like created a beautiful world, and there are all these, wonderful characters in it. And to kind of be like, okay, I'm not going to use any of them and try and create a character that I can care about as much as you made us care about all those other characters is intimidating. But it's also like the whole fun of cinema, and it's you want to find someone that you fall in love with and that you want to follow through this world. So it's intimidating, but it's also exciting, and it's sort of why you do it.
Yeah. And we fall in love, not only with Lupita and Joseph, but also with Nico and Schnitzel. In this
Yeah.
case, Frodo. Um, why was it important for you to involve an animal? Because I do feel like it's really a character. I love that because I think animals are, well, for me they are as important as human beings. But I mean, why did you choose to?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were a lot of reasons. I mean, one, I love animals. I love animals on screen. But I think for Sam's character, because she's so detached from her past life in New York and she's kind of settled on what the end of her life is going to look like, it was nice to have one kind of connective presence throughout the film. Like her cat, in my mind, was some New York street cat that she had since when she grew up in New York, and I liked feeling like there was some sort of physical connection point there. Also, I think in a movie that doesn't have a lot of dialogue and is about sort of these quiet connective moments and how we communicate without words, an animal is kind of the perfect tool to use in that world, and as a way of kind of Frodo kind of becomes a way that she communicates with Eric and connects with Eric, and I think that really helped. And also just I think the image of a dying person walking through the destroyed streets of New York City with a cat by her side just kind of worked for me. So there was a bunch of stuff.
I can tell you it worked for everyone.
Right.
No, I thought it was amazing. It really added to the story. So well done. And
Thank you.
of course, it's a very big movie in a way because we see how the world, New York, gets attacked by aliens. So there's a horror element. There's also, I love how you stay with this really small story though, but there are still the horror elements. How do you choose between the suspense and surprise? Because I do believe there's a perfect balance that you found.
Yeah, I mean, some of that's experimentation, conversations. I mean, yeah, it's the same way of thinking of like how do you pace a story out, so that there's enough, emotional depth, but also enough momentum. So it's just sort of figuring out, okay, like how do we keep both of those engines going? Like you need that continued suspense and terror and the world that's happening around them, but you also want their internal worlds as well. And so it's just kind of, yeah, I mean, it happens all throughout the process. In the writing phase, you're feeling out how this is going to work and how this is going to balance, and then you film it and you see how much these actors are bringing to these characters, and you can lean on certain things there and you can lean away from things you thought you might have to lean on. So you're just kind of constantly playing with those scales throughout the process. And then obviously in editing, you're really honing in on, okay, we can actually tighten this thing up, or maybe we should put something in here. So it's just, yeah, it's just always trying to like feel it out and feel that, so it feels organic. And it's tricky because, as you go through it, you start becoming numb to some of the scares, and you're like, oh, like maybe this isn't landing anymore. I don't, after you watch a jump scare for the 50th time, you're not going to be surprised by it. So you have to also sort of think back on like what was the original intention here and what were we aiming for. So it's just a lot of open conversations with yourself and with your team.
I think that's the most difficult thing about horror movies, like have that good balance between. But I think you did an amazing job.
Thank
And
you.
thank you again. And I hope it does as well on VOD as it did on in cinema.
Thank you so much.